We'll now create the speakers for the stereo system, and let's just select the table here, Shift S and cursor to select it so it's nicely there in the middle, and let's press Shift A and add a plane. Now go to the edit mode and move this out, and let's go to the top view. Let's scale this down to something like this. Or maybe even smaller, and again on the Y. And the reason why I'm moving this in the edit mode is because I want to add a mirror modifier there, so we can do that right now. Switch off X and enable Y, so we are doing both of the speakers at once. And right now you can just extrude this, so press E and extrude. The height is totally up to you. I will go for something like this. Now the tricky part, it's very easy to add the bevel modifier with subdivision surface from the table, and there would be nice smooth boxes, but the tricky part actually is the speaker here in the middle, where it goes inside, so you can't just place a circle there and bevel it and stuff, because you actually want to go inside the geometry. And you can't do a boolean here if you want to smooth out these edges, because if you have a subdivision surface modifier and you add the boolean, you are in the world of pain. So yeah, that's why I was talking about that booleans are tricky, because they create really random topology, really ugly topology. And right now this is the place where it really starts to matter if you're using subdivision surface. The topology and how actually you're creating the geometry really matters, and you have to think it through. So right now we'll have to find another way how to create a hole here in this speaker. And yeah, let's get to it. So let's go into the edit mode, and we'll need to do two cuts here and move them up, and basically that's the place where the speaker will be. And I want to look from the side with number 3 and modify it so it's much more square shaped. And right now we will need to add some topology here to subdivide this part here, and I don't want to create any n-gons, so we'll be slicing up the whole object. So let's do 3 cuts here and 3 cuts right here. And again, this could be avoided with some topology changes, but I want this process to be as straightforward as it can be, so let's continue like this. And right now I want to select these 4 faces in the middle here, so select them, and we want to make a circular hole here. And if you can remember, I was mentioning loop tools before. We used it to flatten the faces on the car modeling in the previous episode, or the episode 4. So we'll use the loop tools again. If you don't have them enabled, go to the edit preferences, search for loop tools in the add-ons and activate it right now. And let's just right click, find the loop tools and click circle, and voila, works like magic. So this is basically a little trick that can help you sometimes to work out some topology problems. And we can now just make this larger, something like this. And now we can inset to create a little bit of rim, and let's inset again and move inside. So press G, then X, and move it inside. And right now we can alt click this loop here and extrude it out a little bit. Okay, and for now that'll be okay. So And you can use this technique for your low poly models as well, whatever you need, but here it's mandatory because, as you can see, the whole model is made from connected four-sided faces. It's all quads, and the subdivision surface modifier just loves that. So right now we can just link the modifier from here, or if you want to really practice the methods that we done, we can do it all over again. So let's just enable smooth shading. Let's add the bevel modifier like this, and right now we want to do 2 segments, and we want to do this like 0.0, I think 0.5 it was. Yeah, that looks quite all right. And of course we want to limit the angle again, so let's bring that up. Maybe something like this, but I think we'll need to go a little bit higher. And now just press Ctrl 2 to enable the subdivision surface, and yeah, let's go up with that modifier. Okay, that looks all right. Let me check the normals here. Okay, and you can see here in the middle, this is not sharp because the angle is colliding with the angle settings here. So you need to push this a little bit further so the angle is sharper there. All right, and yeah, so basically something like 46 degrees will be enough, and you have a nice smooth subdivided surface on the speaker there. And right now we can modify this even further. We can do a little bit extrude here and make finish the speaker like this, but we need to go lower so it's nice and smooth. That's a speaker for you, and some more advanced topology for the subdivided surfaces. And right now we can just call this speaker or speakers. And one last thing I want to have here are some records. That'll be just a really easy thing to do. So let's just add a plane, modify the size. We can look from the top to actually compare it to the record, and I think this will be all right. Let's press period to focus, and let's extrude this a little bit. Now let's call this record, and right now we can use the settings from the table, and it'll create this nice smooth edge where actually it looks like folded paper. So that's enough for now, I think, and we can just look from the side, rotate this a little bit and move it here by pressing G, so it looks like it's leaning on the speaker there. And we can press Alt D to duplicate and move it on the side, and again rotate maybe a little bit more, one more duplicate there, one more to rotate. Okay, I think this looks fine, and maybe we can move them on the X a little bit more. Okay, that looks all right. Okay, so that's the stereo system for you, and we can move on to modeling some chair.